Hello, hello. My name is Ashley, and I'm bringing you a video today, my candle-loving friends, all about testing. It's such a testing topic, so I really hope you stick around for it. I'm going to try and make it as short and sweet as possible, but if you are thinking about launching a candle brand, or you've already launched and let's say you're reformulating some things, changing some things, getting some customer feedback, you're back at the drawing board with candle testing. This is the root of all candle businesses. I'm talking about all those nice little roots and tentacles going down into the ground. Everything behind the scenes is in this video today, and it is all stemming from testing your candles. Okay, now let's lighten the mood a little bit. My name is Ashley. I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm so glad that you guys are here and that you've landed on my channel. Today's video is going to be specific to candle makers. I know that some of my other topics are definitely rooted around marketing and branding and how to run a small business, and I apply it to the journey that I'm taking you guys on with me of making candles into a business. But today's video specifically is all about the nooks and crannies of why candle testing is so crucial. Oh, there aren't enough hand gestures to let you guys know how serious it is. So if there is a stressing point that you have in this journey, this should probably be the biggest one. And I hate to give you this like identity crisis right now, but if you're kind of hemming and hawing and waking up at 3 a.m. over some other topics that are resounding in your brain and keeping you up at night, and they have nothing to do with candle testing, let's reevaluate. So let's go ahead and get right into it, you guys. Candle testing is literally the most tedious part of my day-to-day life as a candle maker, as an entrepreneur in the candle world. And it's something that I often want to push off because I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do it. And I've done that a few times, and unfortunately it has shown. I have gone to market with candles that needed a bit more testing, and it irks my heart. And now I'm making this video because I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did, because it really cost me in the long run. It cost me potential repeat clients. It cost me a lot financially when I had to send out corrected items to my clients. And it honestly just like bruised my reputation a little bit, and something that I don't want you guys to have, because it's a lot of work to overcome something that literally is the face of my brand. My candles are my brand. That's the product that I have to speak for my customers and my business. And I need you guys to hear this loud and clear. Here's a scenario, and I talked about this in another video that probably led you to this one. And it's all about the importance of testing. So I'm not going to try and be redundant on that one, although I have to stress it's very, very important. But candle testing literally is the R&D, the research and development of candle brands, candle lines. And it's something that is tedious for good reason. And that's why I believe not everyone is made out to be a candle maker. I think at first we're drawn to the candle making as a hobby, and then we're like, oh, I could really monetize this. I could make this into a business. But I really feel like it's a dog-eat-dog world out there for how you're going to handle testing of these products. When I test candles, it usually takes me about 3 to 4 months for one candle scent to come to life. Now, yeah, I can definitely whittle that down a bit, but I'm already a launched brand, and so I'm also making products, I'm doing marketing, I'm doing markets, I'm doing other things that pull me in different directions. So while testing is so vital and important, it is something that I am doing more so behind the scenes. And I have things that are in front of the camera, not just YouTube, that are taking a lot of my time. So my timeline for processing and testing candles is a bit more delayed, I will be honest. I use coconut soy wax, I use crackling wooden wicks. So no matter what, when I pour a tester, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for that candle to cure and for that fragrance and throw to really come to life. So no matter what, I have that 2 to 3 week period. But let's say I'm hemming and hawing on some other projects, and then that delays me to about 4 weeks for me to like actually have an office day where I can sit and be close to a candle that I've tested that is burning and like really witness what's happening with it. So take that with a grain of salt, and that's why I have that 3 to 4 month period and turnaround, because there has only been one candle, one, and I am 2 years into this. I have almost 300 tester candles logged on an Excel sheet where I have literally wrote detailed Dear Diary notes on. I've only had one scent that the first time that I poured it, documented it, and then left it and then set it to cure and then burned it, there was only one that I was like, this one is ready to go to market. And even then, of course, I made another tester because I wanted to make sure it just wasn't a fluke and that like the stars were aligned and Mercury wasn't in retrograde or some shit like that. There was one, and I still made two. I think I made 2 more testers of it just to be like dotted I's and crossed T's. Hopefully that gives you guys at least like the scope of how important this is. So the 3 things that I look for when I'm testing candles is I want to make sure that I have allowed enough cure time. So again, I mentioned 2 to 3 weeks. Whatever wax you use, just go to the supplier's website that you get it from, and they should have suggested cure times. Coconut soy wax is a bit longer. I think that there's others. Guys, I gotta be honest, there's so many new candle waxes out there that I just like have no idea. Like I'm already archaic with it. Like I'm basically born in the 80s and I started 2 years ago. Well, I was born in the 80s, but that's neither here nor there. My point is that I already feel like the wax that I'm using has already been like revamped and remade and already 30 different iterations of it being better or different, but consider me old school. So I use coconut soy wax, and what I do is I want to make sure that I keep track of the temperatures that I use. I also want to make sure that I'm keeping track of the percentage of fragrance load that I'm putting in to said tester. And then of course I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to the wick that I'm putting in there. For testing purposes, I always start with the same recipe, meaning that I always melt my wax to the same temperature. I always mix my fragrance oil and my wax at the same temperature. I always start off a tester with the same exact wick size. For wooden wicks, it's a 0.03, 0.625. Do as I say, not as I do, or vice versa. Do whatever works for you guys. I always get hesitant in these videos to give you guys exact mile markers that I use because every wax is different, every wick is different, every fragrance load is different. So you guys, if you're gonna start a business with this, this is the part where you just have to take the bull by the horns, do your own research for what products you're using, and then put pen to paper. I also keep track of what date I'm pouring this candle. That's important, obviously, because of the cure time. So what I do on my Excel sheet is I have the pour date and then I have the ready date. So that is 14 to 21 days after my pour date. I keep track of, obviously, like I said, the percentage of fragrance oil that goes into it. I keep track of how many ounces I'm pouring because maybe I'm doing like a half tester burn. Maybe I'm doing a full tester burn for the vessels that I use, so on and so forth. I keep track of obviously what fragrance oil I'm using, what vendor it's come from, because sometimes I do similar fragrance oils from different vendors. And then I keep track of what temperature I melted the wax at, even though it's redundant, and what temperature I mixed the fragrance oil at. And then from there, I have a column that's any notes that I have based on what the elements were when I was testing. So if it was a really hot day in the studio, if it's a cold day in the studio, if there's anything that feels whichever way the wind blows, literally, that's what comes down to with these testers. And then what happens is I let these things cure, I put them on a shelf, I get them out of my line of sight. And then once I know that my cure time is up, whether it's the 14 or 21 day, then I go into my Dear Diary notes. And these get cumbersome, I will tell you guys. But it's really important because, especially since I'm already a up and running business, there's just a lot of things that take my brain space nowadays. And so for me to expect myself to remember everything that I witnessed when I was like, oh, that candle's burning like crap, I immediately have to go to my notes and I have to document that. It's almost like, I'm saying Dear Diary like kind of as a joke, but it 100% is because I log the date, I log the time that I started the burn. I log everything. I log where I put it in my house, if I can smell it in different rooms, how it's burning, things like that. Now, one thing that I will say about documenting all of this is that, you know, a watch pot never boils. And what I used to do is I would like have them right under my nose when I was working, and I'm like, oh my God, that flame is dancing, or whatever it might be. If you're a candle maker or if you've done this for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But I did myself a little favor with my testing, and I got one of these little babies, obviously on Amazon, because where do you get anything else anymore on the spur of the moment? And this is my clock. You can obviously use your phone, things like that, but sometimes I just like to have this because here's the deal. If I put it on my phone, then I'll probably hit snooze, or I will remove the notification, and then squirrel, I'm on Instagram, and then an hour passes, and then, you know, it's not the brightest light that I like to shed on myself, but it's true. I have ADHD to its finest point, a textbook qualified candidate, and I lose track of time. So this baby comes off, and I like literally have to go seek it out. I have to turn it off, and then usually what I do is restart it. I do 30-minute increments, and then what that allows me to do is say, okay, I've got to go take this, and what I do is I literally march it to whatever point in my home I have my tester, and I just watch the tester for a minute. How is it burning? Where is my melt pool? Is it tunneling? Is the flame too big? Is the flame too small? Can I even smell it? If I go in the room next to it, can I smell it? Is my husband around? Can he smell it? I mean, literally there is everything. This is where analysis paralysis works in your favor, because everything that I'm experiencing in that moment with that candle, I immediately go to that Excel sheet and I enter my journal entry. I do the timestamp. It's been burning for 30 minutes. It's been burning for 4 hours. This is what's happening. I'm not that happy with this. I am happy with that. Fragrance load seems good. Can't smell this shit at all. Fragrance load is terrible. And then I go back to the drawing board. And then it literally is the definition of insanity, you guys, because if that candle's not burning how I would like it to, I've got to go back to my notes, and I've got to start to figure out what could I change about this formula. Or, you know, maybe it's my second or third burn of this same scent and some different factors that I've changed, and it's still not burning well. It might be time to just, you know, go our separate ways. Those are the things that I'm really testing. If the flame's too big or too small, I need to look at the wick. How is the wax burning? How is it the melt pool? Where am I at? I mean, literally, there are a million things we need to be checking. And at the end of the day, you guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you have already set yourself to be at market with something and you don't have a finished product, just do yourself a favor and do the easiest part. Either remove that scent and product or remove that pending date from yourself, because you've got to figure out a finished product before you go and market it to release. And I've really, really learned this the hard way. Last holiday, I had a holiday candle that honestly, I was not quite ready to go to market to. And I still think about it to this day, and it's like August, September, almost a year later. So do yourself a favor, guys. Check the wicks, check the wax, check the fragrance oil, check your notes, check them all again, and then know that testing is so tedious, but it is so crucial. And I promise you guys, if you can set yourself up for success with enough timeline to really, really hone in on a good product, once it goes to market, you will be thanking yourself tenfold. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know that this was a serious video. We should probably get to some funnier ones here soon, because this is like hard for me to get all like serious and Maury Povich on you guys. But I just want you guys to be successful out there in the candle making world. If you're interested in a 30 for 30 and you want to talk about testing or anything else that's on your mind, sign up with the link below in the description box. My name is Ashley. I am so thankful that you guys are here. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I think now would be a really cool time for you to do that. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.